Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diary welcoming you to another video in the NCAA SuperCup 2022-23. Now, we did the Sweet 16, and now we're going to be headed for the quarterfinals tomorrow. Can't wait for that because it will be the quarters are tomorrow, the 27th, and then the semifinals are on the 29th, and the final will be on New Year's Eve. Can't wait for that. So, anyway, let's talk about the round of 16, why don't we? And we'll go bracket by bracket. Now, the Sugar Bowl brackets saw Louisville and North Carolina face each other in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. They both were part of the ACC, but because the rule stated that no team from the same conference could face each other for the first two rounds, they could meet in the Sweet 16, and they did. Louisville was the 9th seed that took care of San Antonio and Georgia, shocking Georgia, because Georgia was hoping for a home game, per se, at the Peach Bowl in Atlanta at their stadium. Whereas North Carolina was the 4 seed and they took down Kansas State and Cincy quite handily. So it was a tight matchup. Johnny Unitas for Louisville, Darian Durant for North Carolina. It went down to the final few seconds, but North Carolina survived 28-24. They were the home team because they were the better seed. So North Carolina, after 3 appearances in the Super Cup in the modern format from 2015 onwards, did not win a single game. And now they've won not 1, not 2, but 3 games themselves. So North Carolina will be going to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans to face the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Mississippi State, it's their time. It's their time because, Mike Leach's untimely death, the head coach. Mississippi State started off as a 10 seed, taking down number 7 Boise 30-24. And then playing for their coach, they faced UCLA at the Idaho Potato Bowl and won 21-17 to get to El Paso in the Sun Bowl for their round of 16 match against South Carolina, who, as a 14th seed, won on the final play against Texas Christian, 32-31, and then at the Armed Forces Bowl beat Illinois 42-32. So people were thinking South Carolina is going to get it. Stephen Garcia is going to beat Dak Prescott. Well, that didn't happen. Mississippi State survived 27-24. So it will be Mississippi State, North Carolina in the quarterfinals in New Orleans. North Carolina will be given the home game because of their seeding, because of the 4 seed Mississippi State number 10. So this is the group that will have the unlikely Final Four winner, because the other 3 brackets have their number 1 seeds. But yeah, this is huge. You see Mississippi State and North Carolina, and one of these guys will be going to the semifinals at the Fiesta Bowl in Phoenix. All right, so that's it. Now, time for the Orange Bowl. In Hawaii, Clemson took on Fresno. Clemson, the 1 seed, crushed Middle Tennessee to find powder, and then had a tough time at the New Mexico Bowl against Baylor. And Fresno, as a 13 seed, faced Oregon State in neutral site and beat them 31-28, and then crushed Penn State in Tempe at Arizona State Stadium at the Wild Wing Bowl 30-6, and Penn State's the defending champ. So, who do you think won? I think you can kind of guess. But yeah, it was close. So, Clemson had to go to overtime against Fresno. Double overtime, if memory serves me right. Clemson won 38-31. Fresno threw an interception on their chance to tie the game and force triple overtime, possibly. But yeah, so Clemson survived Fresno. They're going to Miami in the Orange Bowl in the quarterfinals to face the winner of the Music City Bowl, which was between UConn/Canada State and Purdue. Team Cutter, being UConn, we beat Alabama, a.k.a. Empire State, a.k.a. the Boucher Underground team, 35-7. And then went to Dallas at the Old Cotton Bowl Stadium, won the Heart of Dallas Bowl 24-16 against Wisconsin, which was shocking because, how are we going to beat Russell Wilson? We just did. So we were high and mighty. I mean, Jeff Shortson Trooper with the rushing touchdowns, Jordan Kappa with the great receiving, our great defense led by the Benders and Martin Estupin. And then all of a sudden, we face Purdue. Purdue as a 14 seed because they qualified so late, went to Tennessee, beat Rocky Top 27-17, and then at the GoDaddy Bowl, they crushed Toledo 49-28. So anyway, that was huge. And then we go to the Music City Bowl in Nashville, and it's like, well, What could we do? Well, we didn't do anything. As you could probably guess, I'm not excited by saying this, but Purdue crushed us 34-14. Drew Brees was amazing, but it was played in heavy rain in Nashville, and Leroy Keys and the running attack. Four of there were 4 touchdowns by Purdue on the ground. So logically, they were full of mudders and all that. So it's going to be Clemson versus Purdue in Miami in the quarterfinals. Purdue never qualified for a SuperCup before this year, and now they're in the quarterfinals. Amazing. Clemson, I think, has won a title before. I know they lost to Arkansas a couple years ago, which shocked me because, I cheer for Arkansas, but wow. And then comes the Cotton Bowl bracket. Number 1, Bama took on number 12, UCF. Bama beat Miami of Ohio 33-14 in the first game, and then went to the Compass Bowl in Birmingham and beat SMU 35-14. They would take on Central Florida, who faced Utah and won 27-17. And then they took on Wazoo, or Washington State, in Las Vegas. So they went to Las Vegas and won 28-21 over Drew Bledsoe. So it was Bama, UCF. Central Florida actually got the home game because the game was played at the Capital One Bowl in Orlando. But home field advantage didn't help UCF out as Bama survived 38-31. Great job by Bama, the 1 seed, to move on to the quarterfinals, which will be at Cotton Bowl at the Cowboy Stadium. And they face USC. The Trojans, the 6th seed, took care of Wyoming 42-21 before facing Ohio State in Indianapolis and won 38-25. It was a close game. USC would face Oklahoma at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, and because USC had the better seed than Oklahoma, they were the home team. Oklahoma were the 15 seeds. They could qualify so late. They faced Syracuse, crushed them in Divine Powder 41-0, then went to the Military Bowl and beat the defending runners-up, Notre Dame, 31-24. So the top 2 teams from 2022's tournament were out in the second round. It's funny how Canada State got to the third round. In essence, Fresno and Louisville and North Carolina getting to the third round was shocking. But it's this. So Oklahoma faced USC, and, we lost by 20 to Purdue, but we actually got kind of the last laugh because USC beat Oklahoma 38-7. So SC beat Oklahoma by 31 points, and that's Oklahoma. Whereas we lost to Purdue by 20, but Purdue couldn't beat us by more than USC could beat Oklahoma. So it's a win. So Bama will face USC at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And then we get to the Rose Bowl bracket, the final bracket. The 1 seed Michigan Wolverines took on number 4 Washington, as nature should have been. The 1-4 matchup and the 2-3 matchup, as it were. Sugar Bowl's 1 seed Georgia lost in the second round. The 2 seed UCLA lost in the second round. The 3 seed Texas Christian lost in the first round, and the 4 seed North Carolina are in the group finals. Orange Bowl, the 1 seed Clemson is in the group finals. The 2 seed Ole Miss lost to Wisconsin. The 3 seed Tennessee lost to Purdue in the first round, and the 4 seed Oregon State lost in the first round to Fresno. So the Orange Bowl was tied up with those guys. The Cotton Bowl, 1 seed Bama is in the group finals. Oklahoma State lost the first round to Wazoo, Washington State. The 3 seed Ohio State were beaten in the second round by SC, and the 2 seed Syracuse Orangemen didn't even get out of it. The Rose Bowl, the 1 seed Michigan team beat North Texas 35-21. It was closer than it should have been. And then they shut out Kentucky at the Little Caesars Bowl in Detroit 14-0. The 4th seed Washington Huskies first round against NC State. They won in double overtime. They went for a touchdown on 4th down, and they got it. That was a classic 55-52 game. It was like, wow, what a game by Washington. And then Washington went to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport and beat Pitt and Dan Marino 42-28 to get to face Michigan at the Outback Bowl in Tampa. And Washington made it close, but at the end, Michigan wins 24-17. So Michigan qualifies for the Rose Bowl. They take on Oregon. Well, Big Ten Pac-12. But, Oregon as the 3 seed didn't face the 2 seed in the round of 16. They faced the 7 seed Texas Longhorns at the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. So Oregon as the 3 seed beat San Diego State by the inverted score of 41-14. And then, excuse me, they beat San Jose in the Liberty Bowl 45-10. So Oregon scored 40 points twice. And Texas, the 7th seed, crushed Iowa in the fine powder 49-23 in the first round, then faced Marshall in the Meineke Bowl and beat them 38-28. The 2 seed was Tulane, but they lost to Marshall in the first round. So Oregon won, what did I have to score? 22-12. So Texas actually was closer than you thought, but Oregon survived Texas, and so it's Michigan, Oregon in the quarterfinals. So if memory serves me right, the order of operations will be the Cotton Bowl will be first on quarterfinal Tuesday, Bama SC, then the Rose Bowl with Michigan, Oregon, and then I believe it's the Orange Bowl. Yeah, it's the Orange Bowl, Clemson, Purdue, and then North Carolina, Mississippi State will end the quarterfinals. So we know NC and Mississippi State will be called the Cinderella team, whoever wins, because they're not really meant to be in the Final Four, whereas there's like key matchups. Well, Purdue's kind of a good team in the Big Ten. So, of course, the traditional, got to give you the sheet of paper and all that. Hopefully you can see. Okay, and then switch it over with my pieces of paper and all that. So that's how we'll get to it. So the quarterfinals are set. So whoever wins NC and Mississippi State, they're going to be the slight underdogs, the super underdogs for the Final Four, held in Arizona this year. So let's see what happens with every game. Personally, I hope Michigan wins because they're my second favorite team. But, they might have to face Bama in the semifinals. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Thanks for watching.